How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Sorry I'm a little late. I was, like I said, on the phone with some customer service and it just was like,
No,
tell
no,
me my
no,
answer.
no. No problem at all.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yeah.
Good.
I saw on Facebook this picture of you with this coat and what is this piece? Is it here somewhere else or something that I read?
Yes, and we just did this at the Super Festival in Salzburg. It's a brand new festival for contemporary performance art.
Yeah.
And the idea was to kind of take over the Flachgau region in Salzburg and cover it with performance art. So the piece I did was written by a super cool multimedia composer artist named Stefano D'Alessio. And we were 4 singers with electronics, and it was crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was very, very difficult, very interesting rhythms and like tone shifts. And it was, you know, I said after the first rehearsal, oh, I feel like I got my musician brain back because I had to,
Oh, is it?
you know, yeah, because after the pandemic and being at home and sort of, you know, I haven't flexed my musician muscles as much as I normally do. So it was nice to work out the brain again.
So it was like with a bang, you just had to start doing it again.
Yeah, and I'm so glad the festival happened too, because it was originally scheduled for a bit earlier. And then the rules came about the lift of the lockdown on the 19th of May. So the festival said, you know what, we're just going to push everything forward and we're going to do it. So I'm glad that they didn't, that they didn't cancel or that they didn't have us, you know, because so often things get canceled and then you just do one performance, which would be a shame. That's so much work for one performance is like,
Yeah. And I think also it's I spoke to a ballet dancer and he said something very interesting that I never thought about, but it's almost as if I wonder, I would want to hear from you if it's also the same for singers, but for dancers, he said that you actually, after every performance, you gradually build up to something, you know, better. And it's not just the rehearsal, it's that almost that the performance takes more out of you and it pushes you almost to a different limit than you did in performances or in rehearsals.
Yeah. You know, that is true. And it's an interesting way to think of it because there is no substitute for the actual performance. You know, you can practice and you can practice, but having everything there and the energy that comes from knowing you're performing is something that you can't fake it. And that's and it's very true. And that you you learn more, you learn in the performance. Okay, obviously this is easy and this was hard, which maybe surprises you from rehearsal where something else was easy or was never an issue, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, why didn't that work? Or the opposite, or wait a minute, why did that work so well? So, you know, it's definitely, there's no substitute for it.
Yeah, and maybe from the audience as well, you know, that you see what brings reaction or how they react or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
How did it feel to be back and have an audience in front of you?
Oh, it was like a shot of adrenaline. I felt like I was high for
Really?
days. It was crazy. It felt so good. It felt so good. And even just starting with the rehearsals and knowing that, you know, getting together, we were a small group, we were only 5 people, but getting together and working, and then that excitement before the performance when you hear the audience out there. I mean, and you know, I'm not in it for the applause, but if you haven't heard applause for a long time, it's very
yeah, but it's interesting that you say that, because everybody I've spoken to said that it's not necessarily about the applause, but it's this interaction or this energy that they receive from the audience. And I never knew that. I thought it was you know, I jokingly sometimes say to my daughter, she's a dancer, and I sometimes jokingly say to her, oh, there's nobody applauding me when I do the dishes, you know, but
I would do more dishes if I got applause for it, but
but it's what I hear from all the artists. It's not about the applause necessarily. It's this energy the whole time,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, it really is an energy exchange. And
Yeah,
we who are live performers, you know, there's a whole nother discipline, which is working for the camera and working for digital things. It is different. You bring a different level. And there's, you know, I've done some recording work and I've done some like commercials and things like that, where, you know, you take a take 7 times, very, very different than you rehearse, and then you go for it. And so it's
yeah,
really just this outpouring of energy that's different. And then having that audience there, really, that it is a give take. And like you said before, you feel when the audience is connected, you feel when maybe they're checking out, which of course never happens. But
yeah.
you feel when it's, yeah, it's a real give take. And any good performer definitely, or professional performer probably knows that it's not about me standing on the stage and it's about me. It's really, what
Yeah,
can I give
yeah.
to you and what can you give back, you know?
Mm.
So
Well, this I got from the windows. I got that message from just photographing you all in the windows, because I realized, you know, that you are giving a lot. You know, you are it's not about the me thing. It's about the giving thing, and I think that what in this pandemic I felt that was the big frustration, is that you couldn't give, you know. It was I understand that, you know, the money and all that, but I think the main thing is that it was this part of you who worked towards giving.
absolutely. And there was just there was no outlet. There was no way to really do it. And so then the motivation, of course, sort of went because
Yeah,
there's only so much you can do before you need that audience in order to take it to the next level.
yeah.
And that it was very, very hard. That was for sure high on the list of struggles of the last
Of
however long it's
frustration.
been.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that was
frustration for sure.
I think that was the frustration of the artists, and I think that is what people couldn't understand
Mhm.
necessarily, because in
Yeah,
business it's a bit different. I mean, it's a different
yeah.
frustration. It's a frustration because you cannot operate your business and you know, get your money, but for artists it was completely a different ball game, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the idea, well, just learn a new aria, learn a new piece.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
practice 7 hours a day, but then it's
yeah.
like, I mean, I'll practice so that I'm, you know, maintaining a certain level, because, you know, you just have to as
Yeah,
a
yeah,
physical worker.
yeah.
But it was tough. Yeah.
But now I want to ask you about this piece that you did. So you said it was contemporary and
Mhm.
different sounds and things like that.
Mhm.
So is it for you? So you mainly a classical singer,
Yes.
and going to contemporary. What is the challenge there?
Um, what is the challenge there? It was, well, I really love contemporary. I love when something's new. I like being part of something brand new, and working directly with composers is also such a thrill. I love it. I love it.
Really?
Um,
Mm.
yeah. And with contemporary music, very often what's difficult is it's not always very clearly laid out. There's oftentimes kind of the trend is to have crazy rhythms, or to have, not this wasn't an atonal piece, but sometimes you just had to pick a note out of nowhere, which, you know, you can do if you practice it. But it's sort of like the first time you look at it and you start rehearsal, you think, where am I going to get that note?
Yeah.
In crazy rhythms. And then also with this particular piece, because it was with electronics and I had a microphone, and I had to really I didn't change my technique, but not full out sing, oftentimes really focus on a straight tone, or less volume, because you don't need, you know, if you have a microphone, you don't need to full blast. You can really take it back.
Yeah.
And so that took a little adjusting just to get the balance right there, but it's doable and it's fun. It was really fun.
Oh, is it? Is it?
Mhm.
But I'm thinking now, because in classical music, you have many. definite things, you know, like you have to sing something in a specific way, if I'm right. And but this freedom, is there more freedom in contemporary, and is it this freedom that's difficult to, you know, to have or to experience?
Yeah, I think for a lot of, there are, there goes my phone, don't fall. For a lot of opera singers, I know a lot of opera singers who don't like doing contemporary music because kind of that it's not all laid out clearly. And that's what I actually love about it. So there is freedom. You have the baseline of your technique, and opera singing is also, a way of singing. It's not just the works that are done. It's not just singing Traviata and Figaro. It's also a method of vocal technique. And so using opera singing to do contemporary things is what I really like. And then, like you said, there is a freedom, especially if you have the luxury of working directly with the composer, where, you can sing a line and then you can both look at each other and go, can we change that? That's not so great.
Really?
Versus in opera, if I stand up and say I'm going to sing Pamina, Ach ich fühl's, it needs to be this way, it needs to be done this way, and if it's not done this way, everyone's going to know and everyone's going to be upset. Which is its own challenge, which is really its own challenge. And it's, but it's a different thing. And working with these crazy, oftentimes, not always, but like crazy rhythms and crazy harmonies, you have to like that too. You have to be willing to really, sometimes, I was working on a piece that I called up my pianist, the rehearsal pianist, and I was like, I don't think I know how to count music anymore. This is messing with my brain so much. Like, how do I do it? And then she tried to play it for me. She's like, I don't know. So we figured it out together. But it was, it's kind of fun. It's fun to have that. I enjoy the challenge of something completely new.
But now that you said that it's so lovely to work with the composers as well, I'm thinking now that it is probably also great to think what was the composer thinking, or what is his idea, and you can get that from him. So to have that connection.
Yeah, it's magical. And I would love to go back in time and ask Mozart what he really thought, because there are plenty of people who I think have a good idea, and plenty of people who think they have an idea. And the truth is, we only know what's written down. We have no real connection to his actual words of what he thought. And so I think that there is, you have to obey the tradition. Respect is a better word. Respect the traditions and respect what performance practice of what we know. But I think there is also room for, well, maybe the tempo could be faster. Maybe, we could take a breath here. So much is, every time you get, like I said before, you get up to sing Zauberflöte, you're up against not just what Mozart wrote, but the performance tradition of the last 250 years. So it's a lot.
Yeah. No, I can imagine that it's sort of it done a certain way, and you have to do it that way. Yeah. But now I read on Instagram that you said something to follow, or in something in that line.
Yeah.
I was so inquisitive. What is that? I want to know.
Well, in 2019, I started my own opera company in the United States, in Minnesota, where I am originally from. And I went to the university in Minneapolis in Minnesota. And in 2019, I started my own company called Opera on the Lake. And the whole idea was born out of, I just wanted to, so in Minnesota is known as the land of 1,000 lakes. There are tons of lakes everywhere. And in the summer, Minnesotans love to literally do everything on the lake. If it's possible, do it out there, you're going to do it. And so I thought, okay, well, why don't we just take opera out on the lake as well?
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why not? And then, I kind of asked friends, would you come and see this? Is this something interesting? And everyone said, yeah, go for it. That's also I have to say one of the main differences between the United States and Europe is there really is, yeah, just do it, go for it, do it. And then you do, and
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in 2019, I decided to do a production of Fledermaus, Die Fledermaus, and it was really fun. It was, yeah, I just want to bring this idea of real entertainment, remembering that so much of this, especially operetta, was really entertainment. It was, you were going to have fun, and we didn't have to sit and be stiff. Go have a drink and laugh and talk, and so it was really fun. And I wanted to last summer do Die Lustige Witwe, but because of the pandemic, I had to cancel. And now this summer, I played with the idea of doing something, and I wasn't sure, but then I decided I'm going to go for it, and I'm doing gala concerts. Yeah, operetta gala concerts, and the idea is to sort of take the audience through the genre, because operetta in the United States, it's not really well known. People know Fledermaus and maybe Die Lustige Witwe, but they don't know much else. It's not really, operetta came over, but then morphed into an American art form, musical theater. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, so operetta is this in between opera and musical theater, and I think there's just so much that can be done with the art form, and I think it's such an adaptable, fun. I never really set out to make Opera on the Lake this operetta niche, but from the feedback I've received, I think I'm going to go with it and bring it over. Show the Minnesotans the Viennese operatic way.
Yeah, I remember as a child, my dad loves operetta, and we used to everywhere when we drove in the car, and he also had records. I mean, those were the days, in the 60s and 70s. But yes, when we were in the car, he had his cassettes, and we listened to all the different operettas, and so I know many of the music. I don't know all the stories, but I know many of the music, and I love that. I can think that it used, it's this type of when the music starts playing, everybody knows the tune, or they know, and that's lovely.
There's something familiar about it, even if you don't know it. And there's and as a performer too, there's a lushness. There's some really difficult music in there too. It's nothing to sniff at, right? But this I find that operetta, it can be really cheesy, and some of them are not good. I mean, there's some ones that can, but exactly, like lean into the cheese, lean into it, and just enjoy it. And I feel like it's the perfect art form for a hot summer night, and you're drinking a Weisse Spritzer, and you're with your friends, and you hear gorgeous melodies, and you're gonna laugh because the jokes are great. And I mean, yay, let's do it.
No, I totally agree. Speaking from Cloud 9, I love a bit of cheese. Yeah,
I completely agree. Bring it on.
Okay, so now tell me,
honestly.
Pardon?
I said, as long as it's done honestly, if it's not really genuinely coming from this, here we go. It can be a little bit, but it can be so fun.
But how do you do this now? Because you're here in Vienna, and you want to. So do you have singers that are there rehearsing? And how do you do the logistics of the whole thing now, with the flying and the quarantines and the things?
That's part of the reason I decided not to do a full production this summer, was the logistics of it were just so unclear. And if you do a full production of Lustige Witwe, even with a chamber orchestra, you're talking about 15 to 20 people involved. Whereas with a gala concert, you can have 6 to 7, and that's manageable. And also, should someone not be able to do it, you can say, okay, you had these 3 arias, we're gonna find somebody else and do these 3 arias. It's much more adaptable. And yes, I have a musical director, a conductor in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, and he is working on like arrangements and finding all that kind of thing. And I have 2 singers there, and I have one singer who's actually in California, but she's working on her music. And then we're all going to come together and do kind of some intense rehearsals. And we're going to meet, of course, Zoom meetings. God bless the Zoom meetings.
Amazing.
Line things up. And
Mm.
I'm flying in about 10 days before the premiere, just to be sure. I'm vaccinated and everything should be okay. But, just in case, I thought, okay, let me get there well before rehearsals want to start, just in case.
Yeah. But this sounds amazing, and the weather would be lovely, and you
Yeah.
do it. You do everything outside. What is
Yeah.
the setup there?
Yes. So the venue that I schnapped is fantastic. It's where we did Fledermaus in 2019. It's a pavilion right on a beautiful lake that is in the city of St. Paul, which is the capital city. So it's very cool. There's actual lakes in the city. And this pavilion, it's technically an outdoor space, but it has a roof. So should it sprinkle a little bit, or if the sun's not, even if the sun is shining, you're blocked, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And there's a breeze that goes through, and it's right on the water. It's absolutely beautiful. So that's going to be very, very exciting. And there's a restaurant attached and a little bar, so people can have a drink before or during or after, and just enjoy the night.
That's amazing. And I also spoke to a lot of artists in America, and I know it's very different in America to here, and it's also different in America, different states and places and so on. So how is it in Minnesota? How is the art scene there in Minnesota?
I think it is one of the most supportive arts systems
Really?
in the whole wide world. I mean, people are just within the arts community. It's really this, yeah, okay, let's do it. Yeah, okay, let's do it. And people come out and support each other. Everybody's going to everybody's performances. Right after, when I first founded Opera on the Lake, I was invited to, join this like an email listserv group of other smaller opera companies, so that we were communicating and not stepping on each other's toes. And we talked about programming to make sure we weren't repeating things, because everyone's really thinking of the community, like, what can we offer our community? So cool. And funding, getting money in the United States is very different than here. Everything's private. There's hardly any governmental money or state money for the arts, which is crazy. I mean, there are grants and things out there, but a big part of that is private donors. Companies will donate money if it's tax deductible. So fundraising is very different in the United States. Yeah, that's I haven't quite figured it out, but I mean, we're getting there. It's a whole other skill set, but.
And I also hear from many artists that they can, or many orchestras cannot, say the orchestra members, the musicians, they have to have full-time jobs, and then they do that on the side. Yeah, so they're not full-time musicians.
Yes, and that to be a full-time musician, meaning like you make all your money and spend all your time, that's so very, 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 very rare, very rare. And I think that that's a real shame, because it's so much work. And so when you have to work from 9 to 5 at another job, and then you have to rehearse, and then you have to practice, and using your vacation time to do performances, it's just, it doesn't make much sense to me. But on the other hand, with that, there is a real quick turnaround in the States. If you say, all right, I'm coming and I need to do a concert and I need 7 rehearsals from you, they come prepared. I mean, American singers are like, let's go, let's do this. But it's I really truly can't imagine putting as much time and effort and having another full-time job. And then some people are also parents, so it's like 3 full-time jobs.
Yeah, because I think with you, also with your voice, it's the body needs to be also in a specific state. So you cannot be tired and having spoken all day, say in a job, if you're a teacher or whatever, and then having to sing.
Yeah, that's very, very true. You have to maintain a certain level of vocal and physical fitness to do the job. And yeah.
But Anne, I'm very excited about this American program you have, and I would really like to follow that and see. And maybe when you're in America, we can chat a little, do a quick chat, and you tell me how it's going and what's happening.
Absolutely. I'll take you to the lake. We can do it from the venue, and you can see
Oh, that would be fantastic. Hey,
yes. I'm so excited about it too. I think it's
we've got Zoom. We can go anywhere.
Yes, exactly. The world is our oyster, and we shall find the pearls.
No, I absolutely would love to see that and see the venue and so on, and we'll have a chat, and you can recap and tell what's happening there and so on. So
great. Yes, absolutely.
Maybe if there's a singer who wants to talk to me as well, and American from Minnesota.
Okay. I'm sure that they would. I can think of already who would love to jump in front of the camera. So.
Okay. So, but thank you so much for your time. And
thanks for chatting with me. It was great.
Yeah, it's so interesting to hear all these things and what you're doing. And so is it okay if I post this on YouTube and Facebook? Okay.
Go for it. Yes.
Good. I'll send you the link. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Okay. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you. I hope it doesn't rain. I'm gonna plant my flowers. I picked them up yesterday, and then it was all
you've got such a beautiful balcony with your flowers. And I remember when I took your photo, you were all color coordinated, and it was lovely. Yeah.
Yes, all my purple flowers in my purple pantsuit. But I just picked up some new ones. I got some more purple and some red ones too.
Okay. But anyway, maybe one day we'll grab a coffee. We can see
I would love that.
Person. Yeah.
Yes, let's do it. That would be great.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
Okay. And
you
happy
planting. Talk to you soon. Oh, thank you. I can't wait.
Okay.
Talk to you soon.
Bye. Bye.